AI is crazy, Ted.
Sure, yeah. Let me tell you, I asked it to write a cover letter for me, and it did a really bad job.
What were the skills it highlighted for you? Do you remember?
Well, so it's really, if you type into Chat GPT, just write me a cover letter.
Yeah.
It's literally like dear person, thank you so much for for your application for company name. I'm really good at
name.
insert skill you're good at. Like,
it's like a Google template.
Yeah, but you can manipulate it by typing in like prompts specifically about the job.
Sure.
But then it just warps your, like, I typed in my qualifications and it just completely warped it.
Did you try Copilot out, Ted? Because I had it do slides, and it does it like for you, like highlights points, and it's pretty good. Like you just
I have not
copy
tried
it and put it in
Copilot. What did I try? I tried ChatGPT is fine, but it's pretty basic. There's another one that's popular on Apple. It's called like ChatGate or AI Gate, something like that. Had to pay for it. Didn't like it.
Too many flavors.
And then I haven't tried Copilot yet.
And then Google Gemini. That's the rebranded Bard.
Well, we'll see.
Bard. Hello and welcome back to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 161. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and I'm joined, as always, by James St. Charles and Ted Libby. We're back. And we're just kind of talking about what games we're playing, right? We're just hanging out.
Yeah.
But before we do anything, James, I have something for you. I have a special thing. We're calling this Tech Time with James. Because you know specs, you know how things move and the things and the consoles go and how the signals boop and the bops, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Dragon's Dogma 2 is like a very hyped up game that's coming out. Right?
Take 12 years to make.
12 years to make. Last time it was on PS3. The developers just announced that this game will run at 30 frames per second uncapped, averaging about 31 frames per second on PS5. Mm-hmm. What do you think? We're like in like the modern era. That seems like that's a little
too low because
I don't know.
We're gonna talk about this later, but we've been playing FF7, of course, and I had to put on performance mode because I like the 60 frames.
I like the 60 frames. It's a beautiful.
It still looks good. Still looks good. Like, but
is better than 30 frames.
The 30 frames, it was just too much when you would like move. It's just like I'm too used to 60 plus.
Yeah, I wonder how much I'm going to really notice it in a big fantasy RPG. But I feel like that if I've seen the game being played and like there's a lot of magic going on and stuff blowing up and stuff, and like, are we going to have a ton of slowdown? Like, that's kind of an interesting. I don't know. Maybe that's why it's at 30 frames because it's how it keeps up with it.
We'll see.
I was just kind of curious.
We'll see how the PC does.
James, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe unlocked means that it's not always going to be 30 frames. It theoretically could be more.
Yeah, so cap means you can't go beyond it. Like it'd be like a Bloodborne where it's like you can't go beyond 30 frames. But uncapped with the specs, I'm thinking that just like you're probably just gonna get 30 frames with current specs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe it will get better with a few patches. It might be out the door release issue. Couldn't delay it again.
The way they talk about this game is that they've been trying to make this for so long. Because the original idea, it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and the technology that existed back 12 years ago was not ready for this game. Yeah. So it might be at this point where it's just there's so much stuff packed into this game, like Elden Ring-esque. Although Elden Ring figured it out, like how to have it playable, like not 30 frames. But I'm curious if it's just like scope is too big.
Yeah.
And spec-wise, we'll see. It's PS5, right? It's coming out PS5. No Xbox or Xbox?
No, it might be. I think it's coming to everything. It's just the PS5 was the average spec that IGN gave.
How the hell are you gonna get it work on that Series S?
No, if it's running at 30, it's probably easy for it.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I was just kind of curious your thoughts on it. It's a big game. It seems almost too big that I might not be playing it. But I
saw some people were just like, I saw someone playing the original and they were just not having it. And of course, the original is severely outdated. Like, don't play the original.
Yeah, I think it's from 2012.
Yeah, it's just the control wise and it's not
maybe later, maybe 2013 or 14.
Hey, give me a Google, Ted. Give me a Google.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, we don't really care. Because enough about Dragon's Dogma, because this is the 161st episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, where every Friday morning a new episode goes live on youtube.com, SoundCloud, Spotify, all those podcast places that Ted puts it up when Ted feels like putting it up. Just throwing it out there. It kind of fluctuates.
Very mood dependent.
Very mood dependent. Very much the vibe. And we are a company that runs on NTFF. Okay, James, do you know that? We're all about NTFF.
Non-token fungible.
Forget about it. No, it's no time for foolishness. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. That's our motto around this company. Once a week, we just go over 500 miles, talk about a game-related topic, what games we are playing. We're talking about a lot of games this week. And I think the first game we're talking about, and games from ranging all over, new games, old games, Ted's revisiting indie games. Ted.
2012.
I was right.
And then the not Game of the Year edition, Dark Arisen, came out later in 2013.
Was it titled Game of the Year edition, or was it titled not Game of the Year edition?
No, it's titled Dark Arisen.
Okay.
It has all the DLC added.
Gotcha. They're okay.
I would love a game to come out with not Game of the Year edition. Borderlands 4.
Borderlands 4, not Game of the Year.
Borderlands could do that.
Okay, that's actually really good. James, we're playing Balatro.
Yes.
Balatro.
Balatro. No one knows. They haven't clarified what the name is.
They won't ever.
I like Balatro though.
Balatro, I do too. It feels more like a Vegas-y kind of thing. Balatro, we're going here.
I was gonna say
Bellagio.
Yeah, Bellagio slots.
Did you hear they shut down the fountains because there's a rare duck in the fountain pond? A yellow-billed mallard. It's like the top 10 rarest birds.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
lucky.
They shut out the fountains for it.
You should be going gambling. Everybody place your bets.
It's lucky.
It's lucky.
There's probably some gambling bets of when it's going to leave.
Oh, I'm sure. The over-under. March 12th. Will it leave before March Madness starts, James? That's the bet.
Definitely. There's no fish in that pond. It needs food.
Unless someone's feeding it to win their bet. It's like the guy that was a streaker at the Super Bowl. He placed a bet on the streaker, so he made a ton of money.
I thought that was like fake.
Oh, maybe it was. I don't know. You know what? Fake news. I just read it on Reddit. I assumed it was true. I figured low stakes news, I'll take it for truth. All right, anyways, Balatro, James. Here we are. This roguelike, poker roguelike, developed by Local Thunk. Yeah. Local Thunk.
I'm surprised we haven't had this type of game before, because there's definitely been this one, I can't remember which one I played. Cards and Adventure, Aces and Adventure.
Oh, yeah.
That's the other poker roguelike I played before, but it just
that one's more like solitaire, though, right?
It's the same thing. You're forming hands, but there's it's not what this game is, if that makes sense. Like this game hit it right on the money what you're trying to do, which is you're just trying to make numbers go big.
It's true. You are trying to make numbers go big.
And the other one is not like that.
Yeah, this game. So it's basically it's a roguelike where you are playing against a certain level of like the higher low blind, and there's
ante.
And you have an ante, which I don't even get that mechanic.
Ante level. That's what you're doing. You're playing against the ante level, so it increases the blinds every single time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
As you deal more damage.
Score more chips. So your hands will give you a certain amount of chips. So you get you place your flush. I got 5 cards all the same suit. Boom. I get 50 points or whatever, and that's 50. But then there's multipliers, and the multipliers do different things based on either the hand that you play. So like a flush is hard to get, so that's like a bigger X multiplier. And then you're getting cards throughout your run to get those multipliers bigger dependent on certain things. With the poker hands.
Is it that a thing in poker, like in tournaments, where there's like bounties? So if you win with like this certain hand, like you get that bounty.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I've never played it.
We're crapsmen. When we go to Vegas, Ted and I hit the craps table. All right.
We sure do.
We sure do. And one of us walks away a winner.
We were all losers that night.
That's so true. We were.
Ted was a loser the next day.
Oh, and Ted,
I sure was.
Ted almost died. Balatro, James. So, what are your thoughts on this game? I want to hear your opinions on it because I think I have a different opinion than most people about this game.
You probably don't like this game.
This game's boring as hell. It's fine.
I love this game. This game is awesome. I'm super addicted to it. I think Ted's, he's seen Eric play it, and this is right up Eric's alley. This is like Binding of Isaac, but the poker card game. So what you're trying to do is every single run, you're trying to like break your run. You're trying to like get a very broken build with these Joker cards, which your Joker cards like your items. Like if we're comparing it to Binding of Isaac or any other type of roguelike.
Your Hades.
Your items. Yeah, your Hades, exactly.
They're kind of like effect cards. They'll stay active
enhance your
entire
hands.
run, and they change the game.
So one of them could be like every club you play has like +5 chips or whatever it is, or bonus something. So like clubs are really heavily incentivized now, or every flush is X hand or whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah, so you'll have chips, So stuff that can affect chips, you have a multiplier, which stuff that can affect multiplier, and then you'll have a times, which that'll like they can double that multiplier. And that's like the best thing you can get is something that could like multiply your multiplier and pump it up to a huge number. And so like I'm trying to win every single deck with like the first stake. So there's difficulties. So the white chip, I guess, and then there's red stake. And so far it's very difficult. There's definitely strategy to how you play the blinds, what you're digging for, like knowing the Joker cards, which is very Binding of Isaac-esque, like knowing exactly what items you want to get and how your build wants to run. What this game needs though is to make it longevity wise, like Binding of Isaac, is it needs like a random type thing. Sometimes I just want to like get in, give me a random deck, give me a random like effect. Or like a daily challenge or something like that. There's challenges, but like something daily.
That's something they could probably add eventually.
Yeah, but yeah, there's no real like once you win a run, like
it's really unsatisfying.
You can go endless mode. You can go endless mode, which I've done a little bit, but I haven't gone like fully endless.
Yeah,
and you win a run, you're done. Like it's like there's nothing to it.
Yeah. The joy in this game is a lot of the deck building and strategies around building.
It's kind of unwinding too.
Ridiculous decks. Like you can somehow you start every round with a 52 card standard deck of cards.
Yeah.
But you can end up with like a deck that has no face cards and mostly twos.
Yep.
And a card.
I built a stone deck.
A stone deck?
Yeah, so you get these stone cards and they're worth 50 chips, and they don't do anything. Like you can't like make a flush or anything with them, but you can just keep playing stones and they give you 50 chips.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's better than an ace, which is 11 chips.
Maybe I'm bad at this game, but let me just throw it out there. I never got to a point in this game where I felt like I was really affecting my deck, that 52 cards that I have. I've only felt like I'm really just picking jokers and seeing if I get the good jokers, because...
Yeah, you got to play the arcane, you got to play the spectral, you got to get some glass cards in your deck. Steel cards are fucking amazing. Those are the best cards to put in your deck.
Yeah, and I guess maybe I'm not spending enough money in the store to really make it worth my while.
Yeah, you got to spend.
I do feel like...
Or you gotta skip. Sometimes you got to skip blinds, and then you get like an effect.
See, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, skipping blinds is very... You want to... When you first start the game, you want to skip like the first couple blinds, and they can give you money, they can give you packs, and then you don't have to play. Because sometimes you play, and you're going to play like 3 or 4 hands, and it'll give you like $3. That's nothing. You can't even buy a pack.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing the entire game. So I skip hands, and then you can...
You can skip hands.
That'd be helpful.
And it'll tell you what it gives you. Sometimes it'll give you like, hey, there's going to be a rare Joker in the shop, or it'll give you free packs in the shop, like some really good stuff.
Wow, that would have been really
Or it'll give you like a Mega Celestial pack, you know.
All right, well,
there's strategy. I think the easiest thing is if you try to get flushes. Flushes are so easy to make in this game.
Yeah.
Just try and get flushes and the arcanes that give you like 3 clubs or three spades, and that's the way I won first. But yeah, there's strategy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Any other thoughts on?
I can see how this. I can see how this game will easily be nothing in a month or 2.
Right. That's kind of I played it on a plane and I was like, okay.
I love playing on my Steam Deck though. It's very good Steam Deck verified game.
Deck.
Yeah. No, the actual act of playing this game is basically just drawing 8 cards. It's kind of like an 8-card stud where you're drawing 8 cards. You can put some, you can discard some to draw others. Yeah. And then you're kind of just picking the best poker hand out of those cards.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's kind of how each round plays. The real joy in this game comes from opening up those packs, kind of getting all this extra weird shit, and then building your deck into a completely... Like, I just love that you start out with a standard deck of cards, and by the end of it, you're playing like the Pluto card. Like, what the hell? Like, there's just random stuff you start adding to this deck.
Yeah, there's lucky cards. There's just all these like crazy builds you could do. It's just really fun.
It's a neat little thing. I read tangentially, I have not fact checked this, that the creator of this game doesn't enjoy playing deck building games and doesn't like poker.
Nice.
Which is hilarious if that's true.
That's so funny. I saw it sold 500,000 copies today. So good for them.
I'm just happy that it's doing well. Like these indie games that are coming out. Really, really needing them in this time where AAA games come out, like that one that Ted was gonna play.
Oh yeah, it's Skull and Bones reviews coming up in 2 weeks. We're looking forward to it.
You know that they've slashed the price of the game. It's like $45 now.
Yeah,
good thing Jake waited to buy it for me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, I'm excited. Now I will be buying Ted Skull and Bones. Did you also just bullet point news? So Rocksteady, Kill the Justice League. There's rumors that Ted's prediction that it doesn't last the year could be right, which is wild.
Wow. Wow.
But Warner Brothers, in response, they're doubling down. They're going to make more live service games.
I read
Is this the fall of Warner Brothers?
The fall
of Warner Brothers.
Pretty much.
We're predicting it here.
I'd play that game. I don't know. Shadow of Mordor.
That's Deadpool 3 is the fall of Fox.
No, they're pivoting into more of like a mobile game.
Yeah, live service, free to pay model.
But whatever.
Which is funny because they had the best-selling single-player game of the year last year. But hey.
Yeah.
More money's more money.
Right. I keep forgetting that IP.
I know, right? Now what?
It's worth so much.
All right, I'm going to talk about my game. I'm going to talk about Marvel's Midnight Suns. A game that I actually have talked about on this podcast a year and a half ago.
We've talked about this game a lot.
I've played some of it.
Dude, it's great. I just wanted to update everybody. It was like $15 on the Steam store, so I bought it on my Steam Deck. It plays amazing. I actually think it plays better on the Steam Deck than it does everywhere else. Great game, great combat. Got the DLC. That's pretty cool. I got Deadpool in my crew. That's fun. He's very aware that he's in a deck-based building card game. It's very funny.
Yep.
And he calls your character like the nondescript, like editable NPC character or whatever. It's really funny. He's very like, oh, hello, like nondescript hero. That's now the hero character. Anyways,
this is like XCOM type game, right? XCOM card game.
Yeah, it's like kind of like XCOM, but not particularly. It's
like Mario and Rabbids.
I would say it's more like a Slay the Spire in that what you do depends heavily on the cards you get.
The cards you okay.
Yeah.
You don't because like positioning wise.
No, because you're able to move your characters to attack at any time. Like there's no distance moves that like this person's too far from my player
60%
character.
60% headshot type thing.
Yeah, like that's not involved. Like if my card is Iron Man taking a shot, he'll take the shot wherever, but he'll move to take it.
Okay, never mind.
What you're really trying to do, James, is bounce people into one another. And like there's like knockback damage, and so like all of the main mechanic of the game is trying to knock these like 1 HP grunts that kind of keep reinforcing the battlefield into the other like health up enemies or bosses, and doing like combos that way is kind of what you're doing in a lot of the characters' kind of sense. Everyone does different things, but that's a lot of what this game is. Which I think is really cool. I think it's a really great game. I just wanted to throw a little recommendation because it's what I've been playing a lot of.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it when I played it. I didn't too much enjoy a lot of the
dialogue.
The dialogue, the base.
Yeah.
The times in your base outside of combat, I thought just dragged on.
I skip a lot of that. I press B through a lot of that.
Yeah.
That being said, there are pretty
So that was a great game.
Yeah, but there are pretty funny moments. Like Blade has a crush on Captain Marvel, naturally. And so he has formed a book club. And now we all attend a book club where Blade's like kind of trying to get with Captain Marvel through this book club. But now Captain America, because he's like old, he likes books. So he's a part of the book club. And Wolverine's trying to get more into reading. So now Wolverine has like put himself into this book club. So like the game has like a weird humor with it so far. It knows that like what's happening here is not important whatsoever. Which I kind of like, but the dialogue's still pretty trash.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So like there's that little redeeming factor.
Yeah, I do really appreciate this game's humor. Not to spoil anything, but I forgot who announces him, but somebody announces Iron Man as like Robot Man or something like that, and then it does his like splash card, but it says like Robot Man. It's anyway, little things like that make that game pretty quick.
Like Iron Man introduces Doctor Strange to your player character as Dr. Spooky. And
is that the one?
So for the rest of the game, your character calls Doctor Strange Dr. Spooky.
That's it. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. That's so good. So, little stuff like that makes that game really good. I just think it's a really fun like kind of game to chill out watching something on the TV and just do a few runs with your heroes.
I hope that game has a long life. I know the Switch version got canceled, and I think that was very unfortunate because, like you just said,
it's great
a great game to have with something else going on. I know I played it on PC, and it was this moment of like, I'm just going to have to sit here at my desk and kind of slog through these less fun parts. If I had this in a convenient Steam Deck motif, it would be great.
Jake, what were the issues you had with the Steam Deck, though? I think there was one time like it was like not working too well.
James. Why does this thing, every time I try to use it on an airplane, on a car trip, always want me to connect to the internet before I try to take it on a plane or a car? It drives me nuts. I've run into this thing many times. And then my game was taking a really long time to load, so it was like, clean some of the cache out. While doing that, then made it want me to reconnect to the internet. but I was on a plane, 50,000 feet up in the air, so I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So I couldn't play Marvel Midnight Suns on the plane. I was very disappointed.
Weird.
Yeah, the Steam Deck is like not very user friendly.
Right, it's not user friendly until
yeah,
it's still very much a computer when something goes wrong.
Yeah. So that's my only problem with the Steam Deck. Like when I just want to play something and it doesn't let me, I'm like, this device sucks.
Isn't there an airplane mode on that?
There is, but like I think the way the Steam Deck works is it has to like keep pinging your Steam account. So like when you install
because he constantly wants to cloud sync and like update
yeah,
and then it'll let you know.
And I think like when you change something to do with the file, it has to like ping the server.
You know what? I think it does have to do that.
So like my game was essentially there we go, we're back. My game was essentially like freezing, trying to load into it.
Just like that.
Yeah, just like what just happened to me because I was like, the cache had too many files in it or whatever, So deleting that changed the files
Are you
of the
storing the game like on the games? Like what you have the middle version?
Yeah.
You have the version I have, the 256 gig.
I think so.
Okay, so it's on the NVMe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it all works out in the end because I'm playing it at my home and it's fine, but it does frustrate
when you're not on internet, it's what's the point?
50,000 feet up in the air, I just like couldn't play the game that was installed.
When you want to play it, right?
Yeah, like where the Switch, I will always be able to play my game if it's installed in there. So that was just one of my little butthurt rant that I texted you because I was just so.
I was like trying to figure out what was wrong. I was like, what was wrong?
Yeah, I was just PC bullshit.
Mm-hmm. I've yet to like bling out the Steam Deck on a plane because it's just so big.
It's so big.
It's just like I'm just gonna inconvenience the person next to me with like my Steam Deck like
this, and also like the battery's not great, so you have to like kind of keep it plugged in the whole time, and it gets really hot. Yeah, there's a lot happening. Speaking of a lot happening, Ted, you've dove back into the world of Elden Ring.
From scratch, from start,
from soft.
From soft.
Oh, from soft.
Soft, huh?
I see.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so obviously,
what do you go? What's your build?
Yeah. I did. I'm playing Elden Ring. There, I said it.
He said it, guys. He said it.
Yeah.
Hey,
I have a problem.
I'm not afraid to admit it. Before we jump into your issue, you did play this game before.
I did, yeah.
And like you played like 10 hours.
I played 57 hours.
Excuse me.
He just didn't become Elden Lord, so I don't know what he was doing over there.
Yeah, I played 57 hours on my first character. I looked it up.
Wow. I looked it up. All right, jeez.
Yeah. Well, it's because I looked up on this character, and I'm getting there. I'm getting back to that number.
Okay, so now you re-rolled. You're back into it.
Yeah, I have re-rolled. I was inspired by our conversation 2 weeks ago about Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Erd Tree?
Yeah, Erd.
Erd Tree? Okay.
Erd Tree.
Yeah, and I was joking with the people that I know that this game has become my white whale. It's just I kind of need to beat it at this point.
It's his Moby Dick.
I think it's the one video game where it's like, oh, I would love to beat that, but I genuinely don't know if I can.
It might be good to replay. I think it might be good to replay because since Jake and I have beaten it, they've come up with updates, and who knows if our classes are still viable.
They took out all feet in the game, James. No one has any more feet.
That's not true. There's plenty of feet.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Where are you at? Are you at
okay, so I am basically exactly where I left off in the first time. I have just got to the Alteris Plateau.
James, are you okay down there?
No,
yeah.
How much time?
Oh, he was like,
okay. So I think my current character is at 45 hours.
Okay, I was like, I thought you just started, so I was just like, how the hell are you at the plateau?
No.
You just started.
I put in 45 hours into this new character. I've beaten.
Got it.
First two major bosses.
Right.
So I'm playing a caster this time.
Oh, very cool.
The first time I played, I did not pay attention to magic at all.
Oh, so you're cheesing the game.
Yes, I am.
Dude, that's the best way to go.
Yeah,
magic is a bastard, though.
Yeah, I did not play with any magic the first time, thinking it was like a Dark Souls.
Yeah, I did Strength.
Soulsborne type game. It wasn't until Jake said that he was going holy that I was like, oh, maybe I should check out magic. Turns out magic is way better.
Yeah,
magic is better.
I got a sword that shoots fire. It's freaking dope.
Yeah, so I am playing a full-on caster of the blue magic, which I forgot.
Yeah, we'll take it. I know
some purple magic, but not holy. I'm going intellect. Yeah, and it's been way easier. way fucking easier. I'm deeply surprised at how much easier it is when you can just throw fire, or when you can just throw meteors at people.
Yep.
Yes.
But no, I brought this up to you guys. It's like, do you have any tips for people who are going back into Elden Ring? Because as you guys know, Elden Ring numbers surged back up last week after the announcement of the DLC. You and I, and now most of the internet has agreed that you will probably need a pretty stacked character to go into this DLC. It is not like a restart the game and play something new.
We think it's midway. Like, we think it's like a midway point you can get into the game.
Yeah, I think you have to get to that altar.
Yeah,
but they did kind of say also that the leveling sounds like in the DLC that it will kind of modulate with your character.
Yeah,
which was
did you play Sekiro, Jake?
I've attempted many a times, but no, failed
Just
each.
Curious.
That game's hard.
That game's hard.
Yeah. Well, I just saw some of the elements in Erdtree, like the way the fighting classes were working, and I was wondering if there was a monk class. Someone was asking.
Interesting.
But I wasn't sure. Yeah, he played Sekiro.
So you reached.
So yeah, I was looking for tips.
Yeah.
I have gone back playing this game. My 2 tips that I would bring to the table that I have found to make life much easier playing through Elden Ring.
Don't get hit.
Don't get. I mean, that's for any game. That's
hit them.
Those are the first 2 rules of all video games. Yeah. Don't get hit and hit them.
Yeah, hit them.
But no, I would say I kind of looked up a build, more or less. I looked up a few different builds loosely at different levels to kind of gauge what I should be shooting for. Because I definitely hit a point the first time I played where I just didn't have enough health, and I had to respec to get some more health because I was just getting one shot all the time.
Yeah.
I was getting hit. So that's the first thing I did, is I was looking up a build, and I think that was super helpful. But the other thing is I have really been exploring the map this time, like digging it, and when I find
it's like a cool game, huh, Ted? Huh? It's pretty cool.
It's a pretty cool game. Well, before I would get into this, I think it's like a downward spiral of you explore, but then you don't actually do what you found. You just, there's a boss here, I'll come back to that. So you know what I mean? So I would explore the map. But I wouldn't actually do anything. So then when you get to a point you want to do, you can't do it. And, you get into this cycle. So this time I have been putting my head down and all right, there's a boss right here. I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to beat it. If I have to look it up, so be it. And so I've been actually trying to not 100% it, but finish everything in an area before I move on.
I love that.
And I think that has really helped.
Yeah. Leveling is huge. Knowing you're leveling vitality and making sure you have health and stamina and making sure all your stats are kind of balanced. I did look up a build eventually too, I think, in Elden Ring, which I was okay with kind of doing.
Yeah, I also your starting character kind of matters. This time going into it, I was okay, I'm gonna pick the mage, which is the astrologer, starting class. Starter. And then the guide says first thing you want to do for that first area, Limgrave, is gun intellect, because that'll kind of make you overpowered. And that was totally true. I had a much easier time leveling my damage stat. But now I kind of know, okay, we're done with that. Let's start leveling the other stuff, the strength, or excuse me, the health and the endurance, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think knowing all of those are equally as important to just your one stat that you're kind of is your damage booster.
Right.
Knowing what all your items do, because there's a lot of items that you pick up throughout the game, and if you just read the description for a second, you're like, oh wow, this actually is really good. So
any standouts? Because I have not read my items.
Oh God, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But knowing there are stats that there are items that will help increase your health or your damage, or
upgrading your flask too.
Upgrading your flasks, doing a lot of that. Man, I wish I just had great items on the top of my head. But there's a lot of these bonus boost items that you don't really realize that you have, or these potions or tonics that you can drink that make you stronger, that I think were kind of a little more helpful once I realized that they were in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, reading everything you pick up, because that will also lead you to quests, and the text is not very long. It's 3 sentences of what the lore is of this item. And
Ted, also, even though you're mage, you can still hit. There's still some ways you can get extra damage.
I am a full-on caster, but I have done a surprising amount of melee. The carrion, the little summoner,
summoner,
bell summon. Yes, I do. Yeah, I don't know the official names.
But it's not the mimic, right? You're using something better than the mimic.
The mimic.
I'm not using a mimic. No.
Mimic was good when we played, James, but they've nerfed that shit
I think they nerfed it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah. God,
I am. It was so good when you first got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have been using a sword a significant amount. there's one tip that I would recommend is like early on in the game there's a holy damage Ash of War. I think it's called like Sacred Blade or something like that. And like learning that holy damage kills skeletons right off the bat, game changer. Like suddenly makes Catacombs totally doable. Doesn't fit with my build, but it's like an essential part of the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to go do those Catacombs, you need to figure out how skeletons die.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use a lot of carrion magic, which is that sword, that like flashy sword. So I'm sort of something of a melee mage at this point.
You have like the thing where you like cast the 3 swords above you and then they like launch out. That's really cool.
No, I don't have that. I don't have the great sword yet. Before you get one that's like 5 little swords.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, there's a late game one that's 3 big swords.
Oh shit!
Wow. I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But having a great time with it. I'm doing quests this time around.
Yep.
I think, and the Elden Ring quests are, you kind of need to Google them. Like it's pretty fucking tough to figure it out on a blind playthrough.
Right.
You kind of need to just look it up and be like, all right, go here, go here, go here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a not blind playthrough of Elden Ring, a lot of fun.
It's so good. It's such a great game.
It's a very good game.
It just keeps getting better.
It was a lot of fun when I was overpowered, and then the Academy, the second boss area, was tough. The first time where I was like, my character's not overpowered, and I have to think about this. And both my roommates said, "Yeah, you got pretty frustrated." I was like, "I don't remember because I blacked out for 4 hours."
Yeah,
so
I've had that. The what's the boss where he's riding on the tiny horse? Radon. Because I beat him before the patch, and now all you guys have the easy Radon.
Wait, you got easier?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He got patched the day after I beat him.
Oh wow.
I was on him for like days and days and days, and I was losing my fucking mind to this boss, and I finally beat him. It was one of my greatest gaming moments of all time. But fuck that guy and his tiny horse.
Yeah,
that Radon made me quit my first time, because the very first time I played, I did it totally blind. And so I will say, by the time I was respecking, I kind of didn't really understand the character I was playing anymore. And I was in this kind of spiral of not feeling strong enough to do anything, so I wouldn't do anything, so I wouldn't get stronger. But yeah, I showed up at the Radon fight just to test it out, just to be like, all right, I made it. I don't have any.
Just one arrow hits you, and you're like, all right, I'm done.
Literally, like I was like, I don't have any gems. I'll give it a shot. And I was like, oh, cutscene, and then just,
yeah.
All right, I'm done.
You're dead. You died. Can we move on from Elden Ring?
One last question. This might be a spoiler question.
Sure.
So tune out if you don't want a spoiler. The area of the map, Khalid?
Yeah.
Caelid?
It's red. Caelid? It's red?
Yeah, Caelid.
Yeah.
When should I go there?
No.
You're probably allowed to go there now.
I'm like level 50. I think I'm level 59.
Yeah, I would go there now.
You think I should go there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was there like after second boss.
That is like an alternate area though, technically. Like you could do the whole game without really touching Caelid.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
Okay.
There's nothing. Oh no, there is a.
That's where like Radon is. No, but you don't have to beat Radon to beat the game.
Right.
You only need to beat,
is he not one of the?
You only need to beat 3 Elden Lords, and there's 5.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you had.
To get to where you are at, you're at the plateau, right? So you rode the elevator up.
No.
Oh,
I did the mountain pass.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's like a sneaky way to there's a sneaky way in.
I did not do the mountain. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to go there, but.
Okay.
You can.
I was just curious because in my first playthrough, I felt so underleveled there that I just ran away.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will.
That's the area in FromSoft games that kicks the living shit out of you to remind you that they still own you, and then eventually you get to come back. And fuck them up and be like, all right. Yeah. Now I own this game because I paid money for it and it kicked the living shit out of me for hours.
Yeah. Okay.
James.
Yes.
They've released the sequel to Final Fantasy Remake.
Yes.
Final Fantasy Rebirth is here.
Yep.
How much you playing?
I'm about 4 to 5 hours in,
all right.
But I don't know if that's like gameplay time or.
It's got a really good clock. It only even when you leave it paused and you go and do something, it pauses the clock.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing.
Yep. Yeah.
I think after reading Jason Schreier, he beat it. 80 hours it took him.
Okay.
And he said he compared it to Octopath Traveler 2, which is his like all-time favorite game. That's a high praise.
So he really likes it. Okay, I haven't listened to their podcast about it yet. I'm like 13 hours in.
Okay, I'm still in the first, not the first area. You know, after the
you're in like
the flashback.
Yeah,
first town.
You're in the town. Okay. So,
I'm still in the first town.
So you haven't even hit the open world yet.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Queen's Blood.
Yeah. A lot of so Queen's Blood is the in-game card game, Ted.
Yep.
And I'm I don't think you could spoil this part. No. I'm on a ship right now, and I just played in a Queen's Blood tournament. So that's what I just did 13 hours.
I want to play it.
So you will, James. You will.
It's such a fun game.
I mean, there's not a lot we can really dive into spoiling wise. I more because I want you to experience it than me telling you about the open world and everything.
Well, it seems like there's like different paths you can go down, which is really cool. Like you can choose like, hey, this person will like you more if you hang out with them, or this, it's very much RPG-esque versus story FF7 linear-esque, where it had to be this way.
So yeah, Remake was really linear. This is super open, and I think from what I understand, where obviously neither of us have played, or either of us, all of us have not played Final Fantasy VII, the original, but the ideas that was Cloud, like with Aerith or Tifa, who was the romantic interest, and us as kind of players filling that in for ourselves because the game, let you use your imagination, didn't tell that side of the story as much. Now that is kind of part of the mechanic. It's like, whose relationship are you going to be in? Like, who's Cloud going to date? Definitely seems like this is part of the game. And knowing kind of the big stuff that does happen, the famous, character death of Final Fantasy VII that does come.
Which we all know now because of the New York Times.
Oh, did they spoil it?
Did you see this? Yeah, they had a front page, not a front page, but like a headlining article that was like, will Final Fantasy Remake change the death of so-and-so?
Yeah.
So right there. Right.
I remember that. That was for a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. But that's a very famous video game death anyways.
Sure.
And I'm very interested to see, like, that's what this game I haven't gotten there yet is going to tackle. And we know this game is about changing the story of 7 because the 7 story doesn't end great. So, like, I'm really curious to see where this is going. I'm very excited. It's got great mechanics, and I think it's, like, one of the best looking games I've ever seen.
Very good looking game. Runs really well.
Yeah.
At least in performance, because I want to get to 60. If you do it in the nice, super beautiful mode, it dips a little bit, and I'm just
You want those frames?
I'm not about it. I want the frames. So
I feel it. I'm performance mode all the way.
Same.
It's fine, and it works great.
I texted James that I was playing this, and I was like, I'm playing Final Fantasy. I'm like, man, I know exactly how James is gonna feel. He's gonna say this game is smooth. Because I was like, this game.
Did I say that too?
Yeah,
it is smooth.
It's so smooth.
It is incredible how smooth it is. And with these games, there's not a lot of settings you can change. Like you can't change your like speed and I was like looking through the settings. So I was like, you know what? That's fine. I'm gonna adjust to it. I'm gonna play, and it's great. Getting into the first combat, I was telling Jake, there's a flashback at the start of the game.
Yeah.
It just throws you right into it, which is great. I love that. And you get to play as Sephiroth, and everyone knows Sephiroth, and he is fucking amazing. His skill set, the way you play him, I was just flying. I loved how beautiful the combat's just so good. Like we can't talk. We talked about it so much with the original, and they've just elevated it even more, and it's
yeah, you got
so good
synergy attacks now. New characters you're playing as. Now in this game, instead of in Remake, you had to play certain parties. Like you never got to pick who your party was. This game you get to choose your party. There are certain moments where you break up into different stuff as well, but like while roaming around the open world, you select who your 2 companions are, and then it's really cool. Running around the open world, everybody follows you. So like all 5 characters are running with you through the open world. Or you all hop on chocobos. It's not like you're just the player character and everybody's proverbial with you,
Yeah, I have heard that also whenever you're doing combat, even though you have 2 active party members in yourself, but like you'll still see the other characters doing stuff.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
No, they're not actually helping.
Yeah, but like. In terms of like staying immersed, I thought that was a really good idea because I hate that, especially going back to older RPGs where like you pick your party and then everyone else disappears until you go back to camp.
Yeah.
In
this game, you'll be fighting if like Tifa and Aerith are like in your party actually fighting. You'll see like Barrett on the sidelines like shooting his gun, like he is helping, but he's not actually doing much damage or anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm blown away by it. There's a lot of variety in the mini games that you're playing. There's just little weird things that you can find.
Did you do the chocobo racing yet?
I've done one of the Chocobo challenges, but I haven't gotten to the races yet. But they've talked about how at this place called the Golden Saucer, there's races. Intriguing.
Haven't been there yet.
I did do, James. So they have the big dance sequence in Final Fantasy Remake.
Yep.
I've done that dance sequence's new thing in this game, and you will love it. It is wild. I love these games. I love the first one. I'm really glad I'm getting the same vibes of it.
And then there's gonna be a third one, and that's to me is incredible.
I know. I'm really curious what that's gonna be too. I mean, we'll see. So,
what do the chocobos look like?
They're big yellow birds, Ted.
Are they fat?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not like fat, but they're like big. They're fluffy.
No, I want a fat. One of the games. I don't know which one has fat chocobos. And they're all really tubby.
Oh, they got Ted. Okay. So this is the thing in the open world. You can find these chocobo stands, and that's like your fast travel points. And they got chubby little like peanut-sized chocobos that lead you to the.
Yeah, I like my fat chocobo.
You like your little fat chocobos?
I like a fat. I like a fat chocobo.
Well, James, you're leaving us for 3 weeks, right? After this?
Yeah, I'm going to Japan. Actually, I think we're gonna go to the Square Enix cafe. So I might
source.
try and stop by and grab some FF7 merch.
Yeah, if you get your boy Jake anything, he'll pay you back. He's very excited.
No.
Yes.
You gotta get the good stuff.
I'll try and message you with some stuff, but
time zone.
It'll be like Sunday night or Monday early morning.
We're gonna find a Game Boy Pocket in a bargain bin, and it's gonna be so worth it. Or a Game Boy Micro.
Yeah, I think we're going to Akihabara like 3 or 4 times. So
of course you are. That sounds awesome.
Eventually gonna
Yeah, you'll make your way around. Well, we will review Final Fantasy VII Rebirth once you've completed it and I have. But
it's gonna be a while.
It'll be a very long time.
Till April. I'm gonna put in some good hours this week and this weekend.
Yeah.
So definitely like 10 to 20 hours this weekend.
This is
love to hear it.
Bit of a silly question, but I'm curious. Do you need to play the first remake before you get into Rebirth? Do you think this is a game you can just jump into?
I actually think you kind of can.
Okay.
That being,
I was like, "What the hell is where am I?" That's what I was like.
Because I think the game kind of does a well enough job of setting up like what the stakes are of this story right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I also think you lose so much from not playing Rebirth.
Right. Okay.
Like
but they have a recap, which I didn't do. But they have this recap thing,
it's okay.
So maybe you just watch it all and.
But I think you really miss out on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm just curious, especially nowadays as our attentions get more and more divided among different games.
Yeah.
How they would manage this whole like you're technically playing part 2, but it's its own video game.
And the last one was 45 hours. This one's 80 hours, and the next one's own your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you can, but I also would be like you're doing yourself a disservice because Remake is like almost a perfect video game.
Yeah.
So
it's very
we'll look back on this one day when I'm purchasing the Final Fantasy VII Remake
not Game of the Year edition
collection for $13 on a Steam sale.
Yeah. And to play it on your new Steam Vive headset that you live on. Yeah.
You'll be like, wow, that's like a $250 game. I'm like, that's $13. I mean, why not?
It's $20.35. We're all good. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching the 161st episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's Ted. That's James. We're about to go dive in, so we will see you next week.
The hell?
For liberty.
How do you say adios in Japanese?
Or just be goodbye.
Sayonara?
Yeah.
That's not true.
No, that is true.
That's true.
That's not true.